Hey, good Monday afternoon, everybody. BAM Weather meteorologist Brett Waltz here in the BAM headquarters in Greenwood, Indiana. Just wanted to give you an update on the developing storm system that could put down some accumulating snow as we work into tomorrow and especially into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. We've seen some major shifts in the data over the past 24 hours. We're going to talk about this in the video, but I wanted to start off by giving you a look at the current radar. You can see this is the start of this system. It's kind of a long duration event here, starting off very warm and with some rain, but we're going to start to pull in some cooler air, not really Arctic air. It's not going to be a major cold blast of air behind this storm system. It'll be a little bit cooler, but got to remember it still is February. But as of right now, you can see we actually had a pretty decent area of heavy rain working through central Indiana, just working past northeastern parts of the area right now, just northeast of Indianapolis. You can see we're working into quite a bit of a dry slot right now, and this is our weather porthole. You can see all of the details that it has on it. Range rings right now, if we were to have lightning in the area, those would light up at 30, 20, and 10 miles. And then as you can see right now, National Weather Service alerts going off across northern Indiana, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and into Michigan. These are winter storm watches right now. Now, don't really know why right now Gary is being left out of that. I think it's because the National Weather Service in Chicago has not updated them at this point. And I think that northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, those winter storm watches need to be canceled because the trend on the data has been further southeast to include more of northern portions of Indiana. I think that we may even see more winter weather advisories and winter storm watches expand southward over the next, say, 12 hours or so. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw more of those begin to pop up from the National Weather Service. Hey, I did want to note out here, you can see some of the lightning ongoing across southern portions of Wisconsin. Are seeing a good amount of instability down there, some flash flood warnings in effect as well in south central portions of Missouri. Can't rule out some strong, maybe severe thunderstorms in those areas this afternoon and into this evening. Actually saw, if you follow us on Twitter, posted a little bit of an image showing some rotation in the storm from earlier today. That is one of the features that our weather porthole does have. It's a great tool to use, rotation, hail, and of course the lightning. If you were in the event industry or a golf course or anything like that, this is a great tool for you to have in your arsenal. But hey guys, before we move on, I wanted to thank our sponsor Ray Skillman on US 31 South, Ray Skillman Auto Center, GMC and Buick. We've loved those guys. We're so thankful that they continue to sponsor us so we can keep giving you these updates, especially on busy weeks like this. I know you all are super interested in this forecast, so let's get into it now. Of course, if you are interested in our weather porthole, wxporthole.com, you can go check it out, see the pricing, sign up, and of course we have this here. If you have any questions, go to info@bamwx.com. But let's get into the forecast. So again, we've got some rain to deal with as we work into this afternoon and evening. We've got that dry slot working in, so we will certainly have dry time. It's not going to be a deluge as we work into this afternoon and evening. But take a look at what happens as we work into Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. We start to wrap in some more of that cold air, and I do think a good portion of Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio have the threat of accumulating snow. Let's start back from the beginning here. You can see again, we get past this rain, very warm right now. In fact, I think here at the office it's about 44 or 45 degrees. You see this low pressure to the south. It's on the northwest side of this. I think we're going to start to develop snow tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. I think the snow initially falls across northern Indiana, northwest Indiana, and then into central and northern Illinois. But as we start to wrap some of that snow around, I do think that, especially north of I-70, I think that we are at play for some accumulating snowfall risk. If we take a look at temperatures, this is into tomorrow morning. We stay very, very warm, so it's going to take a while before we get that cold air to come in. But you can see those temperatures as we work into tomorrow evening start to drop closer to 33, 34 degrees, and we slowly start to get this colder air to dive in. Now, because these temperatures are still above freezing, maybe initially we don't have major pavement impacts. Something to keep in mind, may also cut down on those snowfall totals, especially along and south of I-70. But as things stand now, I think with this system, we do have an area of 4 to 6 inches of snow possible from Quincy, Peoria, Champaign, up towards Gary and Fort Wayne. I'll step out here so you can see this all. And I think that if you're along and north of I-70, I'd say from Indianapolis and points north. I think that 1 to 2 inches cannot be ruled out. Now, that's not necessarily what falls on the pavement, but that's what falls from the sky. I think that's not off the table. Now, I know some data may be trying to put 3 to 5 inches in here right now. Other data, I mean, the NAM 3 model has a foot of snow still in Chicago, so there are major discrepancies in the data for only being 24 to 48 hours out. It's one of the biggest ones that we've seen so far this season, and it's been quite a wild season as far as these model trends go. But I did want to show you the model trends. I'll go back to the snowfall forecast, but this is the last 3 days. Note the southward trend of the European model. I mean, this is a major adjustment here over the past several runs, and you can see creeping that snow further and further southeast because of a strong area of high pressure and drier air off to the north, trying to send this down to the southeast. You can see Wisconsin went from 8 to 12 inches of snow in this model about a day and a half ago to basically nothing now. It's a wild trend, and based on what we're seeing right now with our ensemble probabilities, this is the risk of 3 inches or more. Generally favors our idea, central Illinois into northern Indiana, Gary, Fort Wayne, up into southeastern Michigan, northwestern Ohio, Toledo up there. I think those are the areas that have the best risk for this accumulating snow. Now, I want to go back here before we get to the extended range forecast just to give you a look at our snowfall map once again. Again, there's a lot of risk here, guys, just based on the trends that we've been seeing. This system is still shifting around. We still have a ways to go before we get the bulk of this accumulating snow across central and northern Indiana. And so I would expect adjustments. I don't want to say this is set in stone. It's not right now. There can be major adjustments that can still occur with this type of setup. Guys, we don't have a major cold air source right now. We do not have a very strong low pressure system, and it can create all kinds of wonky model runs. And I want to be very, very clear that there are still adjustments that can be possible. This is the idea we are going with right now based on the southeast adjustments and the model data, based on what our favored model data looks like, and just generally based off of climatology when we have the big ridge of high pressure over the northwestern United States. This is kind of the track that these things kind of take. Not to mention, this has been the track we've had all season long. I mean, northwest Indiana from Lafayette up towards Crown Point, Gary, Fort Wayne, those have been the areas that have cashed in most often this winter, while those of us south of I-70, as I talked about last week, have just not been able to cash in this winter, and I don't see this system at this time being any different. Of course, we'll keep you updated on any changes, but hey, if you're looking for spring after this system passes, take a look. This is March 2nd through March 7th. We are talking about the European model here predicting temperatures anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees above normal across the majority of the central and eastern United States. And guys, I know it's been a slow winter, but it is almost spring. I mean, take a look at our average temperatures for the beginning of March here. You can see flowers coming in, and we are going to start to see some blooms, but you can see the temperature trends throughout the month of March. These are our average temperatures. We go from 45 to start the month for an average high temperature. By March 11th of 50 degrees. If we're going to be 5 to 10 degrees above normal, we're going to be talking 50s and maybe even 60s at times with this kind of weather. So certainly think that we've got more spring-like weather in the cards as we work further into the month of March as things stay now. So I'll go back to our snowfall map and I will start to take some questions here. I know it's a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss, and I do want to answer as many questions as I can. So going to try to pull up Facebook here. Kirk, do we have any questions on Periscope right now?
I haven't got any on Periscope, no.
All right, so let me pull up. Yep, let me pull up our Facebook. All right. Travis says, we have had good snows here in Battleground. I doubt you're above normal so far this season, Travis, but yeah, you all have had better chances up there than we have had down here, that's for sure. My kids want snow to play in. I know, guys, it has just not been a great winter down here. Let's see.
How has it changed so drastically versus this morning?
Yeah, how has it changed so drastically? That's a great question. The European model has always been a little bit further down to the south and to the east versus, say, the NAM 3 model. As I said, the NAM 3 model is still way off to the northwest. And I think it's primarily because this system is just trending weaker. When you get a weaker trend on the system, we've got to take in mind, this isn't a normal phase storm system that we would typically see this time of year. We don't have a big cold air source. There's not a huge thermal gradient. And when you get that kind of setup, it makes it difficult to get stronger low pressure systems. When the low pressure system trends weaker, it generally allows that high pressure to the north to push this snow further to the south, and that is what has happened over the past several runs. It's just models are initializing that low weaker. They are seeing something different based on what is ongoing right now, and that is why things have trended further down to the southeast. This morning, we were not on board with that NAM 3 model suggesting a foot of snow up in southeastern Wisconsin. We were not on board with that. It was very far north, all the way up into Madison and Oshkosh up there in Wisconsin, and we were southeast of that, and it just kept going southeast, and we do not want to fight those trends right now. So take a look at some more questions. I know we've got a lot in here. Lynn says, I want a blizzard for Indy. You know, I grew up in Louisville and I have never experienced a blizzard before, so I would actually love for that to happen sometime. Don't think you're going to get it this year. All right, let's see. Any questions? No, not seeing anything right now. Happy to answer any questions that you all may have. Again, here's our latest forecast map. Heaviest snow is going to be up northeast of Fort Wayne, up towards Toledo, in northeastern portions of Indiana, northwestern Ohio, and then up into southeastern Michigan as things stay now. Peoria, Illinois here. Think we will actually see 4 inches plus. Seems to be trending up. Man, if it trends any further south, you all are in trouble. I think you're okay right now, but based on the trends, I would be a little bit concerned if I were you. Again, 4 to 6 right now, but if this shifts any further southeast, you can see the sharp grading on the northwest side of this. If it shifts any further southeast, you all are in a little bit of trouble. I would be a little bit nervous if I was there right now, but I think for now, 4 inches is probably okay in that area. Again, I'd feel a little bit more comfortable if I was in Champaign and Bloomington in the bullseye there in central Illinois. Do you think it will be a plowable snow in Indy? I don't think so right now, especially because I think the temperatures start out marginal. Some data may try to show 3 to 5 inches. Not going with that idea right now. I think it'll be north of Indy, closer to Kokomo. What about conditions for Lafayette Wednesday afternoon? Could be some snow up there Wednesday afternoon in Lafayette. You all are up in the higher totals up here. And yeah, I would say if anything for Lafayette, it could trend a little bit higher for you. So I would definitely say that some hazardous conditions can't be ruled out as we work into your Wednesday afternoon. Any chance of going further south in into the Terre Haute area? I don't think it's impossible. No, I think that is certainly still on the table. Not necessarily favoring them in 4 to 6 right now, but I don't think it's off the table. All right. Let's see, what model do you guys prefer and find that performs the best? This winter, there has not been one that's performed better than the other. The European model, this last system, had the idea of the heaviest band being further south, but it's been too heavy on the southward extent of the snow the past couple of systems. If you recall, it had 6 inches of snow in Indy this last system. Again, it did a good job up to the north. It did a really good job of where that main band was, but it was too expansive with it, and I think that could be the case as well. Generally speaking, the European model is usually pretty decent. This winter, it's kind of all been a crapshoot, to be honest. All right, how much snow for Fort Wayne, Indiana? You can see up there 4 to 6 inches right now. Looks like we're getting some new advisories right now. Kirk, where are those coming in at?
Just change times in the winter watches.
Oh, just changing the times.
We'll have another, tell them we'll have another update probably tomorrow before it gets to.
Okay, I think Travis is asking when the storm's going to be the worst. It looks like it's probably going to be, Wednesday morning into Wednesday afternoon, I would say.
Yeah.
He says, IU comes to Purdue on Thursday. Yes, IU's going to get some payback this Thursday. We've got a couple good wins in a row the last couple of weeks. Let's see. How much snow for Bowling Green, Ohio? Not exactly sure. Where, do you know where Bowling Green is? I think it's in,
Sure.
not 100% sure where Bowling Green is.
It's with them.
Yep, I should ask Vince. Phil asks, any chance of 2 to 3 inches in Bloomington? I think that's going to be difficult at this time. Better chances off to the north. Let's see. I can't answer exactly all the locations, guys. You can see the map here. If you're interested in inquiring at a more detailed forecast that we give to our clients as far as snow removal, things like that, you can inquire at info@bamwx.com. You do snow removal. This is a great tool. We have a lot of snow removal folks that we give our forecast to and really give them that in-depth look at, salting, plowing, how much snow is going to fall on the pavement, stuff like that. If you were in that business, I would certainly recommend reaching out at info@bamwx.com. All right. Bowling Green's just south of Toledo. Yeah, Toledo right now is 6 to 9 inches. I think that as the system kind of transfers a little bit and actually ramps back up a little bit as it works further off to the north and to the east, could be some localized higher totals across northeast Indiana, northwest Ohio, and into southeastern portions of Michigan. Hey guys, before we go, wanted to be sure to give another shout out to Ray Skillman Auto Center on US 31 South. I actually saw a couple of people driving around with a new GMC from Ray Skillman, so hopefully that was one of you that went in there and talked to Colt. But if you are in the market for a new car, be sure to go in there, say hi to Colt, and be sure to tell them that BAM sent you. Before we go, Thomas did have a good question. Is it just me, or has every snow event this winter been deemed to be tricky? Yes. That is correct. I have never seen a winter. I've been here for 3 years, so I haven't been here forever, but this winter has by far been the craziest as far as tricky storm systems go. And guys, it really just comes down to we haven't had a good thermal gradient develop strong storm systems. Models do better when they have stronger storm systems. That's just a known fact. They do better with the overall track. When you have a lack of a cold air source, you get mixing issues. Models do terrible with that. When you get the high pressure to the north, it's just been a mess, guys, this year. And again, it really comes down to the fact that we haven't had that cold source to create stronger storm systems, to create full-on wintry precipitation. These models have just really struggled with it. Not to mention, we have what we call split flow in the jet stream. And actually, if I go off to our week 2 temperature map here, you can kind of visualize this a little bit. If I could draw on it, I would, but what we have going right now is we've got this Pacific jet going kind of way off to the north like this, and we've got our subtropical jet keeping the southwest U.S. a little bit cool and the southern U.S., and it comes through the southern United States like that. When that happens, when those two streams of energy, those two jet streams are not phased, it makes it very difficult to get strong storm systems, and computer model data does a very poor job of seeing where those phase. And it makes it very difficult to predict where exactly those storm systems are going to set up. So if the phasing happens a little bit too early, storm systems will go off further to the northwest. If it happens a little bit slower, they'll stay further to the southeast. And guys, we're talking about very small, minute changes that can lead to big shifts downstream in not only the pattern, but as well as the overall storm track. And that is what we've seen this winter that has made it extremely difficult, and gotta be honest guys, extremely frustrating as a meteorologist to forecast, because as I mentioned, they're small, tiny details that are very difficult to pick out any further out than 24 to 48 hours. All right, guys, that is all I have time for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, want to thank our sponsor, Ray Skillman, for continuing to sponsor the stream. We will be sure to come up and update you all sometime tomorrow. Not exactly sure what time. We're going to see how the data trends. Could do an earlier one if we are feeling confident, but we are certainly going to be sure to update you all tomorrow. We'll try to give an update on Facebook sometime tomorrow morning on when we plan our live stream to be. So be sure to stay on the lookout for that. Thanks for tuning in, and hope you have a great rest of your Monday.